40 esports drivers are competing to sign a professional contract with F1 teams.
It's the first ever F1 Esports Draft. It's day 3 and the final chance for these young men to impress and seize the opportunity of a lifetime.
And it was a chance for the F1 teams to be able to observe the drivers firsthand. "66,000 esports drivers applied for an online competition. Only 40 have made it here to Silverstone for 3 days of assessments. Day 1 kicked off with a challenge that they were all very familiar with: sim racing on F1 2017 by Codemasters. Dino Naukkarinen was probably the surprise package overall, coming second in every heat and then eventually taking third in the grand final. But it was fellow Finnish driver Johnny Tormala who eventually stormed to victory.
And it's Johnny Tormala who has overcome all of these top quality drivers to take victory in the sim racing challenge.
It feels great, it feels unreal, I can't believe it really. There was so much pressure in the last race that now it's all gone, just finish the business.
Then it was the first of our team challenges as the drivers were split into teams of 10 and took on an F1 quiz.
Easy, this is so easy. Oh yeah.
Was that a race to see who could do it the quickest?
And whilst Group 1 contained many of the strongest individuals from the sim challenge, the results would send their heads spinning. Missing out half the answers by not listening to the instructions is not good enough if they want to make it in F1.
One of these groups, I have to say, and I'm not laughing about it, you did really badly. This is serious stuff if you want to get drafted by these F1 teams.
3, 2, 1, go!
The second team test was the pit stop challenge. Drivers were split into teams of 3 and had to work together to change 2 tyres of an F1 car. This tested communication, teamwork and accuracy under pressure. Eventually, Group 3 of Cembalik Bassi, Jan Feller and Floris Vyers took victory.
Gentlemen, how are you feeling after that challenge?
Awesome, awesome, it was very exciting. It's great to be the winners.
Another factor the teams wanted to look at was the fitness of these drivers. They were tested on a variety of challenges and then undertook what many F1 drivers had to do and took part in a reaction test.
Yeah, this is the fun bit.
A standout performance was about to unfold. Step forward, Mr. Kimi Larsson.
The fitness part should be my strongest part, and I should smash it. Okay. Definitely.
The last challenge was one on 4 wheels. The drivers took to the go-kart track to put a lot of their sim racing experience into practice.
I'm really looking forward to go-karting. That's one of my strengths, I hope so.
Cembalik Bassi came home in 3rd. Graham Carroll was 2nd, but it was easy to spot the winner in the yellow helmet, Germany's Dominik Hoffmann.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium finish in 1st place, Dominik Hoffmann!
Other drivers that impressed in the challenges were Patrick Holtzman, Mr. Consistent in the assessments, losing 7 kilos in training to get into this draft, and a man who finished 4th overall in last year's final. Olli Pakala. He might not have won the challenges, but his excellent attitude coupled with a great work ethic are certainly attractive traits to have for any prospective F1 team. Graham Carroll, hailing from Scotland, is quick in the sim and on 4 wheels. His mature and passionate approach to this draft will make him a front runner. Fabrizio Donoso Delgado, despite not being over-impressive in the challenges, is not to be underestimated. Finishing 2nd in the finals in Abu Dhabi last year will make him a man of interest. With all the physical challenges over, it was time for one more test, and this time it was a psychological one, as some of the drivers had been selected to be interviewed by the F1 team's esports representatives. These would be the men and women who ultimately would be making the decisions on who will be selected in the draft. This was a chance for the teams to see firsthand what talent was available, and it was the drivers' last and final chance to impress and prove why they are worthy of a place in Formula 1.
For us, it's very important to select a driver who have all the necessary skills to represent the Formula One team as Lewis or Valtteri or our young driver Esteban or George Russell are doing. So it's also about approach, attitude.
Similar to an F1 driver, you need to perform well in esports, but equally, performance isn't everything. You need to have the right personality traits, you need to have the right character and embody our values.
Be the best if you want to join the team.
We want to see people that are prepared to roll their sleeves up and get in and know and understand that winning is a really tough piece of work, and if you are going to win, you have to work super hard in order to achieve that. And we want those kinds of people at Williams.
The biggest thing we look for is the right attitude, and if you have the right attitude, then you're well placed to work at Force India. They do need to learn that it's not just about driving, so when they're not driving, there's a lot of other things that need to be done. Including speaking to the media, including getting to know team members, including integrating in with all the staff. And I think, that sometimes is 80% of it, and the driving's only 20%. And that part of the 80% is the same whether you're an esports driver or not.
I think that we are looking for the same skills as the real one, with someone who is clever, with a team player, with for sure fast, because at the end of the day it's a matter of speed, but to have all the other skills outside of the car is probably one of the key points.
I have to work hard and enjoy what they're doing, but the key word for us in Sauber is to work hard.
We're looking for that sort of the individual that is competitive, has the right mindset, is willing to go the extra mile, because we're looking for that extra 5% that's going to differentiate the very good from the excellent. We've been doing that in motorsport now for 55 years, so we're looking at applying that knowledge base into a brand new arena of esports, and really excited to see the cream of the crop come through, and hopefully we will be looking at using our knowledge to select the best.
I think it's exciting and new. This is the first time we are doing an esports team in 2018 for the F1 Esports Series, so we're excited across McLaren to give our fans an opportunity to see us race in a different way. So yeah, we're really stoked to see how this year goes.
Alec.
Hey.
Ben, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Take a few. What are you hoping to get from this year? Do you have allegiances to teams?
I just want to show what I can do, show that I'm one of the best in the world, which I believe I am. Just keep improving, really.
Have you been a fan of motorsport since you were a kid, or have you only just got into it through gaming?
Not much, actually, no. I just picked myself up at the Formula 1 game, 2016, and the GPU, and I just started driving, and I went on from there.
What kind of qualities do you feel like you have, and why we should consider you as someone to pick in the draft?
One thing that would come into my mind straight away is I'm pretty clean. Make sure nothing happens, make sure I get to the end of the race every time.
What's your secret? What's your strength?
Difficult question. Everyone always asks me, how are you so fast, how are you so good? And I guess I have the talent for it. I guess it suits me.
Alec describes himself as fair and patient, qualities that every F1 team looks for.
We've done a bit of research on you, and one of your key strengths is consistency.
Yeah.
Where's that come from?
I always focus on the race and just look at the laps, how you do, miss the apex here and there. You can produce lap times over and over again, and that's really important.
And what tempted you to take part in the esports series? What about it grabbed your attention?
The goal always was to be racing against the best in the world. That wasn't possible before.
Yep.
So you just raced against the best on your platform. And now with this esports competition, it's just a great opportunity to race against the best in the world.
What would you say are your sort of strongest personality traits?
I'm really calm, I don't really get mad. If something happens, I'm just sits down and just think about things.
Have you ever experienced a situation when you've had to operate under pressure before?
Yes, many times. Especially the qualifyings are pretty intense, and obviously the battles with people, those are really haven't cracked so far, so.
So what would it mean to you to join Renault and Team Vitality, for an example?
It will be a dream come true. I've worked so much for this, and yeah, it will be really just dream come true, and get in the finals.
Tino says he is consistent and methodical. He excelled at the sim racing, but would his teamwork skills have let him down?
I just finished my second year motor vehicle in college, and hopefully I want to do motorsport engineering either in university or apprenticeship. I love Formula 1. I've been watching since I was 2 years old. I grew up wanting to be a Formula 1 driver, so this is the next thing.
Last year I had many things in my life, except of esports as well. It was one of my hardest years in the school, and I participated in a Hungarian talent show, a singing show, because actually I sing and play the guitar.
Oh my God,
it was
props.
I don't know if I can say the name of the show, but it was one of the biggest shows in Hungary.
So, do you have any preference team-wise? Do you care what badge you have on your chest this year, or are you just keen to get a seat?
I'm just keen to get a seat, to be honest.
So how much time do you fit for sim racing?
This is the big one of the year, so I put in more effort than I would usually do. 3-4 hours maybe a day, something like that.
How do you feel about Williams as a team?
Williams is a traditional team, so I always favor those teams. So generally, I like the team a lot. I'm a big sim racing fan overall, you know, I live this hobby. It's not the driving that I enjoy so much, it's the competing on the high level. It opens doors, you know, so I just try to perform as good as I can. I love this sim racing sport, and I'm glad that I'm good at it.
Why would we pick you over the others? What stands you out from the rest?
The bigger picture is more important. Put the ego aside, deliver.
Impressive stats from Germany's Patrick Holzmann. He's put himself in a strong position.
How do you get on when you have a close competitor or a teammate?
It always drives you forward, so I appreciate when I have a teammate that is pretty much on the same pace as I am. It always pushes you just a little bit more to extract a bit more pace.
Yeah. How do you feel about the whole F1 Esports event so far?
Like a dream, you know, because since I was a child, I've loved F1. If you want to be 1.5 tenths quicker, you have to prepare and practice. I always try to find the extra to be at the front. I like to be competitive.
And just tell us a little bit about you as a person. So, your family, what do you like doing?
My hobbies were football before esports. I had to stop that because it takes a lot of time. I had a good relation with my family. They've been very supportive.
What's the end game for you with esports?
If I could do it, I would do it, both. Like to be an esport champion, and on the other side, to be involved in a real racing world. My goal is always to do better than the last time, so obviously I'm aiming for the title this year. Yeah, I can only hope to get picked by a team and finally bring that title home.
Despite not delivering to the best of his potential, Delgado's reputation precedes him.
Being part of F1 team is always great. So I expect it to be the biggest sim racing competition there has been.
How do you feel about Williams as a team?
The team has a long history and has had Finnish drivers, Keke Rosberg back in the days, and then Bottas just recently. So yeah, I've been following the team.
Johnny Tormala, winner of the Sim Challenge, puts him in a league of his own.
How do you feel about joining such prestigious teams as we have here in Formula 1 Esports?
I guess for everyone it's a dream, especially for me it's a dream. And as you can see, the smile on our faces that we are here. And I'm born in South Korea, as you can see, and I am adopted into a Swedish family. It was the Swedish championship at the Formula 1.6, and I was a part of that. And I competed in the Northern European zone, and I won that championship, so I'm happy for that. After that, I got to experience sim racing, which was really great for me, because the passion I could drive more often in the simulation, because it was a limited practice with the Formula 1. You can practice all the time. The limits of the practice is quite extreme.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It was a very nice interview.
Thank you. Thank you.
Athletic Kimi Larsson wouldn't look out of place on an F1 grid. After 3 days and 5 tough challenges, the F1 Esports drivers have arrived in London for arguably the biggest night of their lives. Having assessed the results from the task, the F1 teams will shortly be making their picks for the 2018 F1 Pro Draft. Who has done enough to prove that they can represent a Formula One team in their eSport division? And if that wasn't pressure enough, this will be done during a live show streamed worldwide on Facebook and broadcast on TV across 5 continents, reaching over 1 million people. And under the watchful eyes of 2 F1 superstars.
Hello and welcome to a brand new era of esports. Tonight we will be bringing you a world first, the inaugural F1 Esports Series Pro Draft. Yes, it's a long title, however, it's got a simple meaning. These young drivers have the chance of joining the professional ranks of Formula One and some of the biggest names in motorsport. Now, they are the best world simulator drivers from around the world, and we've got the top 40 taken from an online competition. Not all of them can be selected, which means how will the teams pick between them? 66,000 players competed in online qualifying for the Pro Draft, completing a total of 1.1 million laps. 111 territories were represented from Albania to Zimbabwe, competing on PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. Great Britain were the most represented with 23% of the players, followed by USA and Germany. The 40 qualifiers hail from 15 countries, including the UK, Chile, Germany and Finland. Once selected, they will race in 3 live events that will determine the 2018 F1 Esports Series teams and drivers world champions, competing for a prize fund of $200,000.
With only 16 places up for the taking, these drivers had only 3 days to impress some of the biggest names in motorsport. They were set a series of challenges to complete that took them out of their comfort zone and tested not just their ability in the sim. Although winning one of these challenges would certainly help put them in pole position in the draft, teams were also looking for consistency throughout the competition. 2 guys who were always around the top of the draw were Cem Bullock-Bassi and Graham Carroll. Some of the other frontrunners heading into London were the winners of each challenge. Finland's Johnny Tormala took victory in the sim on day 1.
And it's Johnny Tormala who has overcome all of these top quality drivers to take victory in the sim racing challenge.
Sweden's Kimi Larsson wiped the floor with his opponents in the reaction challenge. Germany's Dominic Hoffmann stormed to victory on the go-kart track.
Very happy with the result, of course.
And after impressing in a few of the challenges, the teams wanted to know more about Finland's Tino Naukarinen.
I've worked so much for this. It will be a dream come true.
And Germany's Patrick Holtzmann.
This is the big one of the year, so I put in more effort than I would usually do.
I was joined in the studio by 2 F1 expert analysts, ex-F1 driver Johnny Herbert and F1 commentator Jack Nichols.
It was only like yesterday that we were in Abu Dhabi enjoying the first ever F1 Esports, but we're back and it must be an exciting time for you, gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great to see it go up another notch. I mean, as if the first semi-finals here weren't cool enough, then you go to Abu Dhabi and that's a little bit cooler, and now you've got actual F1 teams ready to snap these guys up. It's amazing.
Yeah, last year we didn't have the F1 teams involved, and now they're here. That takes it to a next level, doesn't it?
It really does, not only in terms of, you know, this competition, but motorsport, esports in general. I mean, it really is a game changer, and it was a game changer last year, and like I say, it's just up another level.
Alongside us in the studio, a man who was hoping he had made all the right predictions.
Matt Gallagher, lovely to see you again. These are the 9 drivers you think are going to go in that order, correct?
Sure. Yep, so we've got Jem in first position, and it goes along there. So second, Donoso Delgado, Tormala third, and so on and so forth, down to 9th, Kimi Larsson. And it's not just about the sim, you know, it's not how quick they are. It's about representing the brand. It's being cool under pressure as well. These teams are taking on someone that could easily, you know, lose the plot in the final, which they don't want. They want to pick someone that's going to be consistent and be able to be a Formula One driver in its own right.
Rounding out Matt's top 9 were Scotland's Graham Carroll, Dominic Hoffmann, Sally Soltunk, Patrick Holtzmann, Olli Pakala and Kimi Larsson, all men who impressed in the challenges. But before the picks could get underway, we had to get a pick order, so I went over to the F1 HQ where the main men themselves, Sean Bratches and Chase Carey, would determine the draw order. Chase would pick the teams.
Number 9. So there you have it. Number 9, that'll be Williams Esports.
And Sean would pick the numbers, which would be the order for who got to choose first, second, third, and so on.
In the first position. Fantastic.
So there you have it, Williams Esports getting that first draft position.
Confirmation of the draw order then for round 1. Williams will be happy as they have the pick of 40 drivers as they get to pick in first position, followed by Force India. Team Haas will pick in 3rd, followed by current world champions Mercedes in 4th. Renault are 5th and Sauber are 6th. Toro Rosso have the 7th pick of the night, followed by McLaren in 8th, and plumb last in round 1 is Red Bull Racing. A further 7 picks will be made in rounds 2 and 3, with teams needing to fill a roster of 3 drivers for the upcoming season. In the studio on the night, we were delighted to be joined by representatives from Williams, Force India, Haas, current world champions Mercedes, Renault, Sauber, Toro Rosso, McLaren, and last but not least, Red Bull Racing. And we were joined by 2 F1 VIPs, from Red Bull Max Verstappen and from Toro Rosso Pierre Gasly.
Max, lovely to see you tonight, Pierre. How are you doing? I've got to ask Max, you're on this side. How many hours will you be putting into sim racing?
Before F1, I would say a few hours a day, yeah.
Okay, and can you put yourself in these guys' shoes? They're just behind you. They're watching your head intensely at the moment. They're very.
I hope not my face, but.
But what will they be going through right now? Can you imagine the nerves?
I can imagine them, but yeah, they can chill out.
Okay.
Yeah, just be relaxed, yeah.
Okay, you heard it, gentlemen. Yeah. Chill out. There you go. Pierre, how many hours are you putting into sim racing?
Yeah, quite a lot. I have my own sim at home. Always used to play on F1 game, and I mean it's a good training for us. Of course, it's for fun. I think these guys do it a lot more and more professional than us. But yeah, quite a lot of hours.
Okay, well listen, I don't know if you've managed to do it yet, but we saw you, Max, getting a chance at the Red Bull Sphere to try out the new game. What was it like?
Yeah, it was good. Again, I think the graphics improved, and also the car, I think, was again more realistic to what we drive. So actually really happy with it.
Okay, and hopefully you'll be picking the players later on. I hope that you've been told that. You will be doing that for us. But ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly, who are joining us tonight.
Our first pick of tonight would come from one of the longest running teams in F1.
It's officially in. I've just been told the pick is in. I'm delighted to say that the first pick is in now. Williams Esports have made their selection. With the first pick in the F1 Esports Series Pro Draft, it is... Toro Rosso have picked... With the 4th pick for Mercedes,